We have our next guest in the background. Maria, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Awesome. I'm in tears. I'm not crying. You're crying. Okay. Welcome back, Maria. I think we just need and you talk about grief, which is wonderful. So
I know
that will blend right in.
I was just listening to Simone, and when she had said about accept your curves or things like that, and I'm like, wow, still to this day, I find I'm body conscious.
Yes.
And it's this taught thing that we have, that it's ingrained almost of what that expectation of what an ideal woman is. And we're like, seriously, there is no such thing as an ideal woman.
But if I just didn't have this one acne down there, then I would be perfect and everyone would love me. Okay.
Yeah, and we'd find another sort of aspect. I mean, I know I always tell people I worked hard for my wrinkles.
Okay, I love my little laugh lines. We're gonna go off on a tangent, then we'll come back with the normal question. But you know how they are like, don't smile too much. You're gonna get the laugh lines. And I'm like, I want all the laugh lines. I want people to know that I laughed so much that I have such big crow's feet because I was happy. It was proof that I was happy. Okay. So, Maria, I know that you know how this works. I like to shake things up at the very beginning because
Oh, definitely.
I want to know you as a human being, and I don't want you to ever feel used for the things that you know and the skills that you have because you're a human being first. So, here's my opening question. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Oh, 3 words. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rooted.
Ooh.
New one, huh?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. Bold.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of how to say it in one word. When speaking your mind or truth. How about that?
Speaking your.
I mean, that was the 3 words right there.
I know. But it's the energy behind the words, right?
Yeah.
So whether we come up with the perfect word to describe it or not doesn't matter. It's the energy. Because I will tell you a bit of a secret, which is going to go into my keynote, is when I keep asking this question, especially with the change makers in the world, I'm trying to see if there are patterns, not in the words themselves, but in the energy behind the words, which is why I keep telling you it's not the words, it's the energy behind. And what I'm seeing is a pattern of 3 general energies. The first one is basically saying, I want you to feel safe around me. Mm-hmm. May not be in this order. And so we choose many different words to describe that. You described it as rooted. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes me feel safe being around you. Cool. The next word tends to have some sort of energy around trust. So you said bold. You're bold. Okay, that could be a way that I trust you. And this isn't for everyone, but at least I'm going to get one of those for every single person. And then the last one tends to describe the energy that we want people to understand they'll have in our awareness, in working with us and playing with us, whatever. And you said speaking your mind and truth. Okay, I can expect that from you. That's an energy. Mm-hmm. So it may not be like every single person perfectly aligned, but that's the gist of it, is we're wanting people to go, hey, I'm safe. Hey, you can trust me. And hey, here's the type of person that I am and how we're going to interact together. So I think it's really fun.
That is.
Yeah. So how do these 3 words, rooted, bold, and speaking your mind or speaking your truth, I love those. Those are new. How do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
Well, one, and this is what I'm finding the more that I'm doing speaking, is the rootedness is about rooted in my purpose and my mission. Ooh. Right? It's because my message is about healing isn't forgetting. Ooh. It's carrying love and loss in the same breath. And that is my core message. especially in grief and loss, but in life, really. Because a lot of times we are taught that healing means either forgetting or moving on. It's
Yeah.
almost like once we heal, we'll forget about what happened. Or it never happened, right? All of a sudden, magically, it's like it's gone. Don't ever think about it. It's it's forgotten. And a lot of times these memories stay with us. Our bodies hold them. Not even just our memories. It's our body holds on to them. And when we see that we're rooted in love for ourselves, love for others, and loss happens every single day, even to us, every single day. And a lot of times people will equate loss with the death of a person, but it's
Mm.
not. Losses are little things that either happen suddenly or else is that slow drip.
Oh, yeah.
And we're breathing it in the same breath. We breathe. So we are carrying it in that same breath.
Love. And then I have to let go of my breath, the loss of it, in order to love again. Inhale. I get that for
Sure,
sure.
love that. Inhale.
Yeah, the inhale is the love. And that's what I do every time I meditate is I'm like, okay, how can I breathe in the energy and breathe in the love from everything around me? And then that fresh love, that fresh air, like cleans me in my system and I lose. I don't use the word lose, but really that's what it is I'm cleaning myself. I'm losing the things that I don't want. I'm letting go. And then it helps me feel a little lighter. And then and only then can I breathe back in again. Because if I'm constantly doing this, and it just like you're so tight and tense. And that's when my husband calls it the exhale, where you're like finally letting go and being able to breathe again.
The release.
I like that. Yeah. I like how it all connects. Welcome back, Dr. Angeline. We're talking about grief with Maria.
I was listening. Trust me. I made sure I could hear. And I was like, oh my God, I'm loving that.
We can't quite hear you. You may have to come a little closer.
Oh, I have no idea why.
Is there a beeping in the background? Oh.
No.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Kind of. It's as if your microphone is saying that you are a background noise. You know how it like mutes things?
Okay. Let's see.
Like the echo.
It also tells me you're on mute for some reason.
No,
Try that.
now I just did it to see if it worked. Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, all I did was go back on mute and come back off. So it helped. It helped. But I was enjoying the healing doesn't forget and this whole slow drip. And again, how it was stated, I don't know who said it again about what we hold in our bodies. Like this whole theme today is just so powerful for me because it's where I've been all week. And I'm like, wow. And really more than all week. I've been processing so much lately or trying to just take that time to go inward and process several different things that are showing up for me. And some of it was grief. The residue of grief. The residue of moments. And thinking that here's a question, like, how do you continue to deal with those residue moments when you think that you're past the grieving process? Because I've heard people say, you're still grieving about that? Like, that, and I'm like, well, is there a magic number that sometime that I shouldn't be like, let me know, because maybe I missed the memo. But yeah, so I just been it's just a lot of stuff that's been coming up recently that I'm trying to process. So the healing doesn't forget and that whole slow drip kind of took me to the residue that I find myself sometimes. I'm finding myself in this moment carrying around a situation. So, yeah.
Yeah. I firmly believe that grief never leaves us. It walks with us. And it's the choice that we can make, either walking side by side by it or hand by hand, or when we feel that we want to run away from it. And running away means that if we keep ourselves busy, if we do everything and keep like fixing it, it'll eventually go away. And I love how you said, is there a magic number? Like, where's the memo that said when it disappears? It really doesn't. And through my own experience, what I ended up forming are the pillars of care, in the sense of giving ourselves the compassion whenever we have these recurring, right? And I love how you said the residue. And that's why I kind of say, in regards to things stay with us, even our experiences or events that happened in childhood, whether that memory was correct or not, it's how we viewed it. And I think a lot of times we make ourselves wrong because we feel that we've seen it from our perspective. And that's the only perspective we have. And so when we can give ourselves compassion for saying, okay, this is how I saw it, this is what I felt, and that's okay. It's neither more than or less than. It's not making ourselves feeling broken or that we need to be fixed. It's just saying, it's okay. It happened. I can't change what happened. And I think that's the thing sometimes. Our minds want to give us control, to say, we could go back and fix it. There's a better way of doing it. And in reality, is there really? We only have what we know. And everything else that we think we know is actually hindsight. As we grow, we evolve. And in that, yes, we learn new tools. We learn new language. We learn a different way of being. Doesn't make anything better or worse. It's just different.
I can't remember the word that you said. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch our interview, because I don't know if you'll remember too. You said, this is how I saw it. And then you framed it in a way that I had never thought of before. And so my brain is trying to like grab onto it so that I can process it, but it's gone. Because it's like a new perspective. It was something along the lines of not just us saying that everybody's perspective matters, because we hear it that way so often. But you just said it slightly differently, that my brain was like, ooh, we need to grab onto that.
Yeah, when you find it, let me know.
And that's why it's gone. And that's why I need to go back and watch. But I like, okay, there's a better way of doing it. That was like a reference to the thing that I need to go back and remember.
Okay. Because it's so true, right? We go around caring about, we have to fix ourselves. I mean, I was doing that for many years, believing that who I wasn't perfect enough, wasn't the right person to be. And realistically, who is the judge that says who you're supposed to be? And that's one of the, I think on the third word I went, to be bold and to speak our truths, is because we have to, well, I feel I have to, in the sense of our experiences shape us. They don't define us, they do shape us. And we have to get to the point where we know that we are enough. Because a lot of times we are struggling with being enough, being worthy, because of our experiences or the events, or even someone just saying a little word and how we perceived it or how we heard it. And then we've internalized it. We've made meaning out of something that in reality has no meaning. It's a word of what someone else had thought and had spoken. does not necessarily mean it's the truth. And we have to see our own truth in saying, I am worthy. I am enough because I exist. And so many times we make either our roles or what we do, we give ourselves labels. And at times it's like, it's just be. Be into who you're becoming, like become. And I don't know what the becoming means or who I'm going to become.
Yeah.
And that's okay to sit in that.
When I first started working on worthiness and feeling enoughness, and that idea that just existing makes me worthy, it made me so frustrated because in my mind, it was the same thing as people telling me to let go. And I'm like, how do I let go? I don't even know what it means, let alone how to do it. And all you're telling me is just let go, just let go. How? And it would just be this mental spiral of frustration. And so the whole worthiness and enoughness of telling people you're worthy just because you exist, it at first put me in that same frustration spiral of, but why? Why am I worthy just because I exist? Why am I enough just because I exist? So can you tell us from your frame of reference and your perspective what that part means to you?
Okay. And the way to say it is that, so my son at 16 was diagnosed with an incurable blood cancer.
Oh.
So for 11 years, we had, the hospital rooms, the treatments, surgeries, crises after crises of not knowing what's next. To the rest of the world, he looked fit. He looked like he walked out of a GQ magazine because what he could control was his appearance. What was happening underneath the struggle of what the cancer did, no one could see. I mean, I always say his friends would say, all the girls wanted to date him. All the guys wanted to be him. And when he died, my old wounds of not being enough, not being worthy popped up. Because all of a sudden, it was like, if I was enough, he wouldn't have died. If I was worthy, this wouldn't have happened. So the events of my childhood, of things that I had internalized of not being worthy, of not being enough, came up after he died. And even beforehand, how many times have we gone to take courses, programs, anything for self-development to fix ourselves so that way we are worthy, we're enough, right? And there's a difference between learning a skill and internalizing that we are not enough and we're not worthy. And when it came up, when he had died, and I even had, and for confirmation, I had made myself believe I was a bad mother because I had not taken my children when they were small to Disneyland.
I get where you're coming from, but yeah.
Was my confirmation of a terrible parent, right? I mean, here's this imaginary mouse, giant imaginary mice, that is telling a parent whether they're good or not, worthy, not being enough and not being worthy can do. Like grief and loss get mixed up in the old wounds and can take something that is insignificant and just blow it out of proportion. Yeah. And when I'm saying this out loud, you can hear the silliness, the ridiculousness out of it. When I kept it as an internal, it stayed with me for years. That's sort of the difference. When we can release it from our bodies, we can see that, wow, if someone else had told me that, I would have said, seriously, come on. And yet, to our own selves, we are our most worst critic.
Yep. Ooh, I think I'm having a bit of a mental reframe right now. Because, okay, I'm like, frame it for everybody else in the split second that it all connected for me. When we say nice things about ourselves, for some reason, we don't want to believe that. Mm-hmm. When other people say nice things about us, we try to believe that. So in my brain, what had happened was it was saying, I am worthy of all things positive, and worthiness just means a self-confirmation of the things that I want to be aligned with the best, my favorite, whatever word you want to put on that, version of myself, because she's always there. To be that version or not, it's still there. And so that version of me is always worthy of the good things from myself and other people. Therefore, even on a day where I don't think that I'm that version of me, I'm still worthy because she's still worthy. Like, oh, I like this reframe. Okay, my brain has connected a little more to this. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Level up. Yay. Okay.
And
that makes it so much better.
And I think that's the aspect. We look for outside, like exterior.
Yeah.
People telling us that we're worthy. Mm-hmm. And you're right. When people say some nice things, we look at it and we're like, yeah, are you really seeing the real me? Like, seriously, if you knew me. And at times, what I find is at times when we don't look at ourselves in the mirror and we just sit with ourselves, we actually can hear our whispers of the heart. It's when we look in the mirror is when we start finding flaws. Now, I know that there is an exercise that people can do with the mirror work, and that is very deep. I've tried it, and I couldn't finish it because there are things that I think there are events and experiences from our past that in some ways are still, they're old wounds that we have repressed. Yeah. And at times, it's like that. I always use an onion. And I didn't realize it was a vegetable. Isn't that funny? I cook with onions all the time, and I never thought of it as a vegetable.
Yep. It's just an onion.
I know. And at time, and I guess that's the same thing. Like as humans, we label each other rather than saying it's an onion. Like, why do I need to put it into the fruit or a vegetable item aspect? It's an onion. However, the onion has different layers. Some are thicker, some are thin, and some are like that thin film. And at times, that is exactly as humans, we have layers of different wounds that we are carrying.
Yeah.
And when we're ready, they can be released. And sometimes we're still holding on to them because that's our belief.
Now, I know that you and I talked. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Ashley.
Sometimes we're still holding on to them because it's our sanctuary and we're not ready to fully be free. Right? And I've seen that as well. It's that safe space. But if I let go that unknown, that the pain of that wound, I'm really going to have to deal with. Right? Whatever happens afterwards. So I do want to thank you for your story, for sharing your story as well. And you also said something about the 4 pillars of care. Did I miss that when I was away?
Did you name them?
I didn't name them. Okay.
Okay. Well, can we get the other 3?
Definitely. So care is what I came out of my own experience. So I use it as an acronym. So care is C, compassion for self. Mm-hmm. A is acknowledgement of your thoughts and your feelings without judgment, right? Because we always judge our thoughts and feelings, and yet they have no meaning behind them. Mm-hmm. R is the release of the guilt, the regret, and the shame that we hold on to. Mm-hmm. E is embracing who you are being right now and who you are becoming. And this is one of the tools that I use when I'm working with the grief. I mean, they're not like stages. It's a guide or a compass. And it's a daily practice. Because it's not like a one and done. We have to give ourselves compassion just about every single moment. And the same thing, when we acknowledge, we have thoughts constantly that come into our minds. And they actually say from thousands of thoughts that we have, the majority are negative. I've come to a point now when my mind is actually blank. In the sense of when I'm not doing something, if I'm not thinking or anything like that, it is just blank. Like there's no thoughts that come in.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Oh, give me some of that up here.
Yeah. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened as I was practicing my pillars of care as my compass. And all of a sudden, as someone kind of goes, those itty bitty little thoughts that come up like those gremlins become quieter. Because and especially when we start seeing our own worth and we're worthy, the thoughts start quieting, the negative thoughts. And so even with the release, we blame ourselves for so much that sometimes it is beyond our control.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I mean, regret really sometimes is, again, hindsight. We can only regret that what we see in the future when we look in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the regret is something that we had no control over either. So a lot of times our mind wants to give us control that we never had.
Stop putting puzzle pieces together in my brain. Okay.
I think about your mug too, Laurie, when you held up that mug, Joy. Because we were, a friend of mine, we were talking one day about, well, what is the difference between happiness and joy?
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm thinking even of what you're saying and the different steps and the different levels to being and becoming, it reminds me of, for me, it reminds me of happiness and joy. I think of happiness as a state of mind and joy as a state of being. And I have to go through the happy to I'm now being. Yes. It's now become my state of being, so that in no matter what happens, right? Because one minute we could be happy, find joy in a space where I am worthy, where no matter what happens, whether I'm happy today, not happy tomorrow, I can still be joyful because I know that I still am enough. I know that I still am showing up, that no matter what happens, it may not be my fault. It might be my fault. Life happens. And so how am I going to internalize daily what's happening? Now, I have to get there. I'm going to make that a part of the joy part. So,
and I love, Dr. Angelina, how you actually said joy is a state of being.
mm-hmm.
It really is. Joy comes from within us.
Yes.
No one can take that. And a lot of times, I think when we think of happiness, when we think of it as a state of mind, it's like we have to work or achieve it. Right? I think there's that book or something that's called The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
Why do we need to go after something? And one of the things that I think when we look at even the pillars of care, it doesn't take away that things will still happen. I think a lot of times when we think of success, and I loved how even at the beginning you said I didn't get the memo, or maybe that was Simone that said I didn't get the memo.
No, it's me. Yes.
And it's about at times we feel that we missed that memo because sometimes our lives don't go as planned. We fail and we make failure something like we have to hide and be ashamed of and guilty over, rather than saying, yeah, okay, that didn't work. Yeah, I did this and didn't pan out. And being okay with that and saying it's okay to fail. Because I think one of the words, and I still haven't figured out what does it mean to fail forward. I mean, and sometimes I'm thinking, why do I need to even figure it out? Yeah, I'm one of these ones that it's kind of like, I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
So many rabbit holes.
Right?
So
Well, it is. We could be digging up rabbit holes all the time and going from one to the next to the next. And then we end up not being, because we're still searching for that perfection, searching for that solution, searching for how to fix my brokenness. And we don't never stop to realize, to say, I am not broken. I am a human that, yes, sometimes falls, and then I pick myself up again. Sometimes makes mistakes. Sometimes says the wrong words. And that's where compassion comes in, and acknowledgement. And even just in 1 minute, you can have all 4.
Right. But I love how you also talked about and brought up the book, The Pursuit of Happiness. Even in that, it's laborious, right? It's labor in that. Why am I putting labor into being, right? When I don't know, you got me. I'm like you now, Laura. I'm starting to process a lot of this now. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first thing when you said that came up. Like, that's labor. That's work. And I mean, I know that we're constantly working on ourselves, but working to be happy when I can already exist as enough in a space of joy, right? I think that's a healing, healthy space.
One of the things that I always like, joy is actually simple. Joy, and as you said, there's no labor to joy. Joy is enjoying I mean, I always use coffee as an example.
So does Laura.
No, water.
Oh, you're having water.
Okay, can you imagine this on coffee?
Well, coffee is actually very relaxing. It's very,
mushroom coffee.
I always call it, coffee is zen.
No, me on caffeine or any stimulant, like, no.
Okay.
And that's the beauty sometimes when we're looking at joy and the simplicity of it. Because joy could be admiring a single flower or a field of flowers. Enjoying the view of when we see, okay, so I'm on the west coast of Canada, so we have shades of green.
Okay.
Shades of green.
I know, but a lot of people that come to visit BC will go, I never knew that green came in so many different shades. And you're like, seriously?
Right. I'm very confused.
And the same thing. I mean, it just fall now, depending on the trees, the leaves are changing. We see the different yellows, the oranges, the reds. And there's joy in saying that we can see color. We can distinguish between the different shades and just sit and enjoy it. Or enjoying the ocean or the sky. And the aspects of joy don't really cost anything.
And that's where I get high on life, is because there's so much beauty everywhere in the subtleties people don't generally look at. I could look out my window all day and just watch the leaves and the sky and all the stuff. It's beautiful. And the sparkles, that's what I call it. Especially the ocean water sparkles everywhere. It's okay. We're gonna run out of time. Maria, I want to know where to find you. It went so quickly, and what your favorite way to communicate is.
Okay, so I put down my website, mariabelanic.com. I had to put it down so that we have the spelling.
Where did you put it?
Under my name. It's my name. Doesn't say Maria Belanic.
I was like, I don't see it in the chat. Okay. I get it now. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, go on my website and then they can reach me through there. It's the easiest. And really it's about coach. I always go coach. It sounds challenging when we say coaching. It's more of a guiding of someone who has experienced loss and grief. And it's not something that's recent, because even with grief, we can hold on to it. It is staying with our body because no one's ever had the opportunity to express themselves or to be witnessed. And that's the aspect that I want to give people, is holding space so that way they can share the losses that they've had in a way that feels safe for them and in an environment that is trusted, where there's no fixing because there is nothing brokenness. It's a way to release what's being held in the body, to give freedom and to listen to the heart, whispers of the heart.
Yeah. This is why I love chatting with you. Okay. So with about the, 45 seconds we have left, what would you love to leave people with today?
That you are enough and that you are worthy. I think there's so many of us that feel broken, and we're not. We are worthy. And that's what I want to leave people. You are not alone. There is support.
Okay, I had another little mental thing which I'll have to share in our next little portion. But I had another insight of what I learned. I'm going to write it down. I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. Thank you so much, Maria. I just want to make sure that gets in on time. Cool. Okay, before I forget, sorry, usually I let everybody else go first, but my brain needs to grasp things. So if I build something magnificent out of Lego and we think of it as beautiful, as worthy, as wonderful, as enough, and then it falls on the floor, it's still made up of the same pieces. It's all still there. It may be quote unquote broken, but it's not, because we can always rebuild it. It's still worthy, just as the Lego pieces. It's still enough, just as the Lego pieces. And I can always rebuild it and rebuild it differently if I so choose.
Love that.
Okay, sorry. I had to get that out right away. Dr. Angeline, can you share one thing that stood out to you during our conversation with Maria today?
So first of all, I felt like I was in therapy, which is not a bad thing, because I must have needed it today. Because all these things again are healing, emotions, all of this kind of stuff has been the whole day. And so I say thank you for my free session. And for me as well, it was such confirmation, because I spoke the last time about the Gateway to Success program. And I spoke about the justice impacted individuals. And that was my last words to them. You are worthy and you are enough. In a world that's constantly telling you you're not, I, along with the division of reentry that I work with, we're here to let you know and to constantly and always remind you. So even if you need to be reminded, come back through, call us, whatever. And if no one else ever tells you, you're worthy and you are enough. And I just think that was so powerful to me for everyone, and that you're not broken. Yes.
I love that. Okay, Maria, what is one thing that stood out to you during our conversation today?
There was so much. However, I liked what you said about the Lego, that last piece, because I know there's, when we think of it, Lego doesn't change being Lego. And that's the aspect that when we think of ourselves, we don't change being us. Mm-hmm. And I love that analogy.
It's how my brain works.
Well, and I love that we get to share and grasp insights from each other and have the impact where we see a new way of, or a different way of thinking, perspective. I love that. It's being open and curious.
Yeah.
And accepting. Yeah, I love that.
And to go along with all the analogies, so my brain works in movies, and in order for me to process information, I need to pull references, and then it literally plays it out like a movie in my brain. So during our conversation, I had another insight that put some more puzzle pieces together for me around worthiness and being enough, because that's something that I've been focusing on the last year and a half. And so to find out what that insight was that put the puzzle pieces together for me and actually made them really, really click, go back and watch the interview. So Maria, we have about 60 seconds left. If you have any other comments, any teasers for social media, go right ahead.
Well, I love being on your show, Laura. And I don't know, can I give a shout out? Because I'm going to be having a summit in November, which is carrying love and loss through the holidays. The holidays are really challenging for many people that have lost a loved one or experienced any loss in their lives. The holidays, we see what's missing. We see who's missing. Yeah. And these are different tools, and I'll have guest speakers on for 3 days. So it's November 18th to 20th.
Such a timely thing. Thank you so much, Maria. I enjoyed you being here. And it's always different every time I talk to you. So I liked that it was over on this side this time. So I so appreciate that.